Okay, back again, this time for the narrated marking instructions for exercise 2. Okay, again, any questions you have, please contact your own class teacher through Ask a Question. Okay, on question 1, you're asked or you're told polymers are made by a polymerization reaction. Name the type of polymerization. Well, the only type of polymerization that we have taught you and that you've learned about in Mr. Morton's video is addition polymerization. Okay, so that's the only one that you know about. The second part of that question, what must be present in the monomer to have a successful polymer formed? Well, if it's an addition reaction, you know that it must have a carbon-to-carbon double bond, therefore making sure it's an unsaturated molecule. So the answer to part B, it must contain a carbon-to-carbon double bond. Please don't say it must contain a double bond, you will not get the marks for that. You must say carbon-to-carbon double bond. Okay folks, in this one you're asked to draw the monomers in that H shape that we have been learning about in the last section in exercise 1. So if I think about propene, okay, I know if I were to draw out propene, I would say 1, 2, 3. I know I would have a carbon-to-carbon double bond. I know that I would have a hydrogen and a hydrogen there. I know that this would only require to have one hydrogen, and I know I would have my CH3 like that. So I know I can quite easily and confidently write propene. However, it has to be as an H shape. So this bit of the molecule would bend up the way to allow me to have that H shape. So therefore, in the H shape, this here would just simply be carbon-to-carbon double bond. That bit there, because that's the part of the H shape I require. I need to bend this up to make this bit of the molecule. I'm going to write it as CH3 rather than joining in all the bonds just to make it look much neater, and therefore I have the H at the bottom. So that there is your answer to propene. Okay, so we have that there for you first of all. Right, so if we now go on to example B, you have to do it for pent-2-ene. Okay, so if I go to pent-2-ene, okay, I'm just going to draw that out for you again. Okay, again, it's easier just to draw it the way you would normally draw it in Unit 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2-ene means your carbon-to-carbon double bond is there. So if you were to draw around your hydrogens, you would have your hydrogens looking like that. You need 1 there, you need 2 here, and you need your CH3 there. Okay, so if we are now going from this one to our H shape, remember this bit here, this C double bond to carbon double bond is this bit here. So let's start at this bit, right? So let's just draw in our C double bond C, so we've got that bit. Let's put in our 2 hydrogens, so we've got the bottom bit of our H, we just need the top bit of our H. So we've got, I'll just highlight what we've already put in. We've already put in that bit, so that's that bit there. So all I now need to do is bend that bit up, and instead of drawing it out like that, I'm going to just draw its short instructional formula, CH3. And if this bit here is C2H5, I'm just going to bend that up, and I'm going to do C2H5. Okay, so we've got that there for you. Okay, and hopefully that is reasonably okay. Now I'm only going to do part C, okay, because the ones that you would generally have will be those first 2 examples. The rest of them, D, E and F, are a little bit too complicated. Okay, I'll place up the answers later on, but they are quite hard to do. So we're just going to stick to the ones that are reasonably straightforward and the ones that you would be asked about in an exam. Okay, so in the next one, you have to draw 2-methyl-prop-1-ene. So therefore it's 1, 2, 3, and we need prop-1-ene, so I'm going to put that there. We have a methyl branch, okay, on carbon number 2. I'm going to place in my other hydrogens, that requires there. That doesn't require anything. This requires my 3 hydrogens. So that is your molecule of 2-methyl-prop-1-ene. What you're now going to do is you're now going to do that H shape. So let's have a little look at what's easy. Well, look, that bit there is your first bit there, so we can quite easily just say, okay, there's the first bit of my H. I know my carbon-to-carbon double bond must be the bit across the middle. And I know I've got my wee bit going up, so I'm going to keep that as CH3. I need to bend this bit down the way to get into the H shape, so that also is a CH3, so I'm going to place it like that. Okay? And that, boys and girls, is your answers for A, B, and C. Okay, forget about D, E, and F for the moment, please. Now this question is very similar, in fact it's almost identical to one of the questions that you carried out in exercise 1. And again, it's looking at a polymer and you identifying the repeating units, not just one repeating unit, but 2. So remember what we do, we come to the left-hand side and we place along here. Okay, let's just do this. There's my first 2 carbons in. So therefore, if I were to draw this as a monomer, it would be your carbon-to-carbon double bond. I would have a hydrogen there and a hydrogen there. And I would have here my C2H5 down to my hydrogen. Okay, now you can see when you lift that, it doesn't fit in there, so there must be another little monomer that has been used to make this polymer. So I'm now looking at my 2 carbons here, okay, because this one would lift, it wouldn't fit there, but it certainly would fit there, but it will not fit there. So this is your second monomer. Again, you do exactly the same. There's your 2 carbons there, put in your carbon-to-carbon double bond, and make sure that you add in everything else that is around it. Copy it straight from your polymer. So you can see here you've got this 1 monomer and you've got your second monomer. You're not asked for the names of the monomers in this particular question, but if you were, this would be but1-ene, this would be eth-ene. Hi everyone, in this particular question 4, you have to draw a polymer showing 3 monomers of propene. I have drawn propene as you would normally recognise it, but remember when we're doing plastics and polymers, we want it into that H shape. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to keep that bit and I'm going to take this wee bit out and I'm going to bend it round with my CH3. So therefore, all I'm looking to do now is to draw 3 of those all together. So you know the backbone would have 6 carbons. Got to have my side arm? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Here we have an H and an H. Here we have a CH3 and an H. And again, you just copy exactly as it would be for your other 2 monomers. And adding them together would give you this structure of a polymer. Remember, that's your monomer, it has your carbon-to-carbon double bond in it, and remember this here is your polymer. Going from monomer to polymer is addition, a polymerization. Good. Okay, in question 5, we know that we've drawn this in question 4, and you're asked to name this polymer. Remember, all we do is, well, if this was called propene, which it told us in the question, in order to make sure you've got the right polymer, you put in the word poly before the word, okay? So your prefix would be poly. So the name of this polymer is polypropene. Okay, final question of exercise 2. You can see here again, you're given a polymer. And what you're asked is to draw the monomer unit used to make this polymer. So it's easier for you to sit and go, right, what's my repeating unit? So remember, you count 2 in from the left, and if you make a little break like that, you know that it's the monomer, so it's got to contain the carbon-to-carbon double bond. So you place in your carbon-to-carbon double bond between here and here, copy what you have here and here, that's hydrogen and hydrogen, and here, it's your CN down to your H. You're not asked, nor would you be expected to name that, but you'd be expected to draw it. So that's your monomer, that's your polymer. Okay, another wee extra bit on this question, it might be draw the repeating unit. So you would simply draw that bit there, which simply would be that. Okay, just making sure that you had in your side atoms. Okay, so that there is your monomer. That there is your repeating units. And that there, as you know, is your polymer. And the process by going from your monomer up to your polymer is addition polymerization. That's it, folks. You're now ready to move on to the next instruction.